Yes, as Russell said, we have Wonder Mama from Australia, and here's a little clip of how she works. All right. Wonder Mama, come on in.
Hey, hi Amber, how you going?
I'm doing great. Good morning to you. I know
Yes,
it's a
good morning.
morning.
It's 10 a.m. here on Monday morning.
Oh, well, enjoy your week. How
Yeah.
does one become a Wonder Mama?
Well, it all happened it's nearly 10 years that I've been performing as Wonder Mama. I am a huge Wonder Woman fan, so I love Wonder Woman. I've loved Wonder Woman since I was very little, and I wanted to dress up as Wonder Woman for Mardi Gras, for Sydney Mardi Gras, which is a big pride parade that we have here every year. But I knew that I could never look or fit into Linda Carter's costume, so I made myself a Wonder Mama instead of a Wonder Woman. So yeah, so that's how it all happened. Yeah.
So you idolized Wonder Woman, and that created your character.
Yes, so I've done like a little spin-off of Wonder Woman. She's my little interpretation. She's got her own little story and background and everything. And yeah, so that's how it happened. Yeah.
Were you a performer before then?
Not really. I was in the parade. I was creative. I used to be a graphic designer, so I was always into art and illustrating and stuff like that. But that was actually the first time about 10 years ago that I started doing drag and dressing up as Wonder Mama, and then it's just evolved from there.
What was that feeling that first time you were in that parade as Wonder Mama?
It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. I've done the parade before, but for other themes. So we had different things in the parade. But that was the first time as Wonder Woman, as Wonder Mama. And yes, I was a very voluptuous Wonder Woman back then. But yeah. So and then it just snowballed from there. It was popular, it was on TV, and it just snowballed from there. So yeah.
What came from that? How did you explore the other opportunities for Wonder Mama?
Okay, well, then from there, I started doing a lot of community work. I was doing like community, like we've got a youth day called Wear It Purple, which is for rainbow youth, to support rainbow youth. So I would do appearances for them. The AIDS organization known as Bobby Goldsmith Foundation here in New South Wales. So I do a lot of community and charity work for a lot of these organizations and stuff. And then from there, it just kept on going. I started doing story times, some drag story times at Mardi Gras and that sort of thing. And now I host my own drink and draw with the drag queen. So it's like my own little business. It's like sip and paint, but we do drink and draw. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Who's that aimed towards? Who's your audience for drink?
It's mainly adults for that. It's adults. It's an adult class, because I think I tried once or twice with kids and I was like, oh my God, this is too hard. So the adults, even though they get a bit excitable sometimes, especially if you get a bachelorette party, they're a bit easier to control. So yeah.
So you're being a graphic designer, so that helps with your drawing and teaching that class?
Oh yeah, because I've loved drawing since I was really little. I've always been drawing and creating, and then I was a graphic designer for about 20 years, and I got bored of it because it was a lot of computer-based sort of artwork, and I like drawing and being more hands-on, so I left that. And then in recent years, like during lockdown, I actually started I did my own storybook. So I've illustrated and written two Wonder Mama storybooks, and I've got It's Okay to Be Me, which is like a storybook about growing up as a queer kid based on my experience. Yeah, there I am with my books at Comic-Con here in Australia. So I've got two Wonder Mama adventures, and I've got It's Okay to Be Me, which is about growing. So I wrote and illustrated those books, and they're on Amazon and that sort of thing. So yeah. So I try and keep creative, and Wonder Mama is like creative because it's like coming up with ideas for outfits. And I've got my superhero version, which looks like Wonder Woman, but then I've got all my other outfits, which is always fun coming up with different things. So it's very creative for me. Yeah.
United States many times. Tell us about some of those visits.
I have been to the United States. The first time I went as Wonder Mum. I've been to America lots of times. I've been to New York too many times. I've got to stop. I've got to go somewhere else and visit other places as well. But the first time I was in America as Wonder Mama was we went to Anaheim WonderCon in Anaheim, which is like a big comic convention, and I appeared there as Wonder Mama, and I won most humorous entry that year at WonderCon in Anaheim. And I've been meaning to go after that. We were meant to go a year or two later, but then COVID ruined everything, so I had to cancel that. But I'm hopefully going to be back in for New York Comic Con this year in October. So yeah, and then the other big event that I was in America for was for World Pride, for New York World Pride in 2019. So I traveled over there with Sydney Mardi Gras, and we promoted Sydney for World Pride, which we had in Sydney this year, and that was amazing. That was the longest, hottest parade I've ever been in my entire life. It was in the middle of July, and I'm there in all my padding and everything, and I thought I was gonna, and it was the middle of the day, and I was dying, but it was well worth it. It was really good.
What do you see the difference between, or is there a difference between Australian drag queens and American drag queens?
I don't think so. I think there's not much of a difference. I think for a while we had influences like Dame Edna, and we had other characters, but I think the standard of drag queen is getting much better overall everywhere, and I think that's probably due to the likes of RuPaul and everything bringing the standard up so high that it's almost impossible to compete. I don't bother competing, so I just do my own thing. But I think it's pretty much the same. I mean, we've got Drag Race Down Under, and I feel it's almost similar. I think in a way, though, the Australian drag queens put a bit more comedy and fast sort of into it, whereas yeah, I think there's a little bit more comedy on the Australian, so they make it a bit more comedic, whereas the American one, it's a bit more realistic and really, you know, really hyper realistic. So it's like really amazing, really pageant sort of drag. Yeah.
You mentioned Dame Edna as being an influence. Do you have any other drag influences?
Well, Dame Edna was my first, hence the glasses. So that's why yeah, so that was my influence with Dame Edna. And besides that, I'm a bit older. I'm not like a 20-year-old drag queen. So it's like I couldn't get away with trying to be like a 20-year-old beauty drag queen. So there was Dame Edna, and I think it was mainly Dame Edna, but really my influence was really almost like cosplay. So it was really being a fan of Wonder Woman more than anything. And then it's just been influences over the years, seeing other drag queens and trying to raise a standard, and also trying to get away from the superhero aspect and just being a bit more fun and fancy. And yeah.
You host your drink and draw, and
Yes.
And you have your story hours in your books. Do you perform other ways?
I've actually recently started singing. So I've actually started singing now. And I've been training, and I've been seeing a singing teacher for the last few years. I've always sung since I was little. I was always in school plays and productions and that sort of thing, but it was never really encouraged by my parents. So now I'm doing it myself. And I'm getting there. I'm getting more confident with it, and I'm getting a bit better at it. So I've been doing a little bit of singing as well, and I'd like to do more. I actually want to incorporate the singing into my drawing class and sort of like give them a little show at the beginning of the drawing class, and we'll see how things go. So yeah.
What type of music would you like to sing, or do you sing?
I like retro sort of music, so it's a lot of disco sort of tracks, and old jazz sort of numbers. So I do a bit of a few Julie London covers, some ABBA songs. So yeah, it's all a bit of fun.
That's it. Have fun doing it. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. So it's all a bit of fun. It's all in the name of fun. Yeah.
you've got a lot of things going on there. Now, is drag your main source of income right now?
At the moment, yes, it's been a little bit quiet with the Christmas and New Year break. A lot of my drawing classes have been, I do an open class once a month, so anyone can book to come and see that, to join into that class. But really most of the business is coming from the hens nights, we call them hens, bachelorette's night, we call them hens nights here in Sydney, here in Australia. But I was actually doing, when I left graphic design, I got into community support work. So that's like just looking after sick people and helping them transporting. So I'm doing a little bit of that as well at the moment. And I've been doing that for a long time, nearly almost 12 years. And it's been good because I can work around it. It keeps the money coming in, and it also, and if I need to do Wonder Mama stuff, then I can easily just say, listen, I'm not available, and that's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I know someone asked for your social media platform, so let's make sure we put
so
that
I've got
back.
Instagram. I'm on I'm pretty much on everything. TikTok. I've got a little bit on TikTok, but that's too much hard work. I just look at it. It's just too much to do. There's just, to get dressed up and do videos and everything. It's just like, ugh. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook and that sort of thing. And you can keep up to date with me there. And then I've got my website as well. Yeah.
What do you want to do next? Do you have a goal to do something big?
Well, I want to do more singing and performing. I really want to do more singing and performing. I'm a little bit shy. I'm still an element of me that's a little bit shy about singing. So I think I've actually been thinking about doing some sort of like course or something to sort of like get me a bit more confident. But I think just with a little bit more experience and a bit more, I'll be fine. Yeah.
My advice is, have fun with it. If you show you're having fun with it, the audience will have fun with it. They don't care what you sound like.
Yeah.
So just get out there and do it, girl.
That's
I've gotten away with it for 30 years. So I know what I'm talking about.
Just get out there and do it. Yeah, exactly.
You talked about your trips to the United States. Have you traveled to Europe as well?
I've been to Europe, but I haven't, not as Wonder Mama. I haven't gone as Wonder Mama. I haven't really, only America is the only place that I've brought Wonder Mama to. But yeah, no, I've been to Europe. Like I said, COVID ruined everything. I was meant to go to Rome, and for Rome Pride, I was going to go to Rome Pride and bring Wonder Mama to Rome. That all fell through. Yeah. So hopefully next year, or we'll see how things go.
All right. Well, Wonder Mama, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for
really
having me,
appreciate it. And I know you're going to get a lot of fans.
Thank you so much. I love your show. I love all the work you do and supporting the drag community and everything. So it's really amazing because a lot of the stuff that you show, a lot of it is happening here in Australia too. So, there's a lot of anti-drag, anti-trans stuff happening. So it's good to see how things are going there as well to compare.
No, so seriously, is it happening there as well?
We don't have the legalized bans here. But we are getting a lot of protests, and there's a lot of social discrimination about it. So there's a lot of, especially on social media, there's a lot of horrible things being said about drag queens and drag story times. Like I was telling Russell, the producer, I was meant to do a drag story. I did a drag story time in Alice Springs a couple of weeks ago, and the library who was putting it on actually had a lot of online protests and a lot of threats and horrible things being said. And we were prepared for a protest that day, but luckily nothing at all happened. So it was just all online trolls and stuff. So hopefully, there's been a few events though that I know of, especially in Melbourne, that drag events especially for youth have been cancelled because of threats. But Melbourne's got a whole different problem. They've got like I was telling Russell, there was a transgender protest. There was an anti-transgender protest happening in the city in Melbourne, and Nazis turned up to that to show their support for anti-trans. And it was a big scandal here in Australia, all on the news and everything, that Nazis had turned up. And there were some politicians there, and it was a mess. But yeah, and a lot of events are being threatened and being called off because of that. So yeah. And it's
we're all in this together. We're all in this together, Mama. So let's keep pushing that word out there. I'll share your word. You share my words.
Excellent. No worries,
All
Amber.
right.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good day.
No worries. Take care. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Yes. Oh my.